This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away from 6th to 10th of January 2021 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Diana Mille. She was born in June 1935 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 86 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Diana Mille was an American actress, best known for her role as Laura Collins on the popular gothic soap opera Dark Shadows. She also had a prolific career as a guest star on numerous television shows in the 1960s and 70s. Mille was a respected actress with a long career on screen. Marian Ramsey. She was born in May 1947 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 73 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Marian Ramsey was an American actress and singer, best known for her role as a soft-spoken officer, Laverne Hooks, in the Police Academy film franchise. Her distinctive high-pitched voice and comedic timing made her a fan favorite. Ramsey had a long career in film and television. Julie Strain. She was born in February 1962 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 58 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Julie Strain was an American actress and model, known for her roles in B movies and for being a prominent scream queen in the horror genre. She was also a model and was featured in the animated film Heavy Metal 2000. Strain had a cult following among fans of sci-fi and horror. Gerald Hiken. He was born in May 1927 and he died in January 2021. His age was 93 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gerald Hiken was an American actor known for his long career on stage and screen. He was a respected and versatile actor, appearing in numerous plays, films, and television shows. Hiken's work included a variety of character roles. Antonio Sabado Sr. He was born in April 1943 and he died in January 2021. His age was 77 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was COVID-19. Antonio Sabado Sr. was an Italian-American actor, a popular star of Italian films in the 1960s and 70s. He later appeared in American films and television. Sabado was known for his dashing good looks and his roles in action and drama films. Steve Carver. He was born in April 1945 and he died in January 2021. His age was 75 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications of a heart attack and COVID-19. Steve Carver was an American film director, known for his work in the action and exploitation genres. He directed films like Big Bad Mama and Lone Wolf McQuad, often collaborating with actors like Chuck Norris. Carver was a respected figure in B-movie cinema. Ed Bruce. He was born in December 1939 and he died in January 2021. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Ed Bruce was an American country music singer, songwriter, and actor. He co-wrote and performed the classic country hit "Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys," which became a signature song for him. Bruce also had a successful acting career. Jamie OHara. He was born in August 1950 and he died in January 2021. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications of cancer. Jamie OHara was an American country music singer and songwriter, one half of the popular duo The O'Kanes. He was a prolific songwriter who penned hits for himself and other artists, including Can't Stop Loving You. OHara was a respected figure in Nashville. Deezer D. He was born in March 1965 and he died in January 2021. His age was 55 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Deezer D. born Dearton Thompson was an American actor and rapper, best known for his role as Nurse Malik McGrath on the long-time-running television medical drama ER. He also had a career as a rapper, releasing several albums. Deezer D was a familiar face on television for many years. David Darling. He was born in March 1941 and he died in January 2021. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. David Darling was an American cellist and composer known for his new age and improvisational music. He was a Grammy Award winner and a highly respected figure in the world of contemporary and classical music. Darling was a versatile and innovative musician. Jim Hayes. He was born in November 1933 and he died in January 2021. His age was 87 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Jim Hayes was an American publisher, activist, and a prominent figure in the European counterculture movement of the 1960s. He co-founded the influential underground newspaper International Times and ran the legendary Arts Lab in London. Hayes was a champion of the arts and free expression. Bobby Few. He was born in October 1935 and he died in January 2021. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Bobby Few was an American jazz pianist known for his work in the avant-garde and free jazz movements. He was a long-time collaborator with saxophonist Albert Ayler. Few was a respected figure in the world of experimental jazz. J. W. McGee. He was born in January 1950 and he died in January 2021. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from COVID-19. J. W. McGee was an American-Canadian musician. He was most noted for several early rap singles released under the stage name Mr. Q, including Ladies Delight, the first known Canadian hip-hop single. Caroli Wilcox. She was born in May 1931 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 89 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Caroli Wilcox was an American puppeteer and puppet designer known for her work on The Muppets and Sesame Street. She helped bring beloved characters to life. Wilcox was a creative and integral part of the world of puppetry. Ashley Babbage. She was born in October 1985 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 35 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was homicide. Ashley Babbage was an American Air Force veteran who was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer while attempting to breach a barricaded door inside the United States Capitol building during the January 6, 2021 riot. Her death became a flashpoint in the political discourse surrounding the event. Lawrence H. Keats. He was born in July 1937 and he died in January 2021. His age was 83 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Lawrence H. Keats was an American scientist in the field of gene expression, genomics, and cellular differentiation. His first faculty position was at Stanford University from 1970 to 1989, where he worked as a professor in the Department of Medicine and focused on basic molecular biology and gene expression. JonathanAldrich. He was born in January 1936 and he died in January 2021. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. JonathanAldrich was an American poet and educator. He was the author of 8 collections of poetry and several chapbooks. His collected poems, The Old World in His Arms, was published in 2021 by Wolfson Press. Thomas G. Carpenter. He was born in February 1926 and he died in January 2021. His age was 92 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Thomas G. Carpenter was an American university president who served as a president of the University of North Florida. He was a respected figure in academia. Carpenter's leadership guided the university. Robbins Berling. He was born in April 1926 and he died in January 2021. His age was 94 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Robbins Berling was an American anthropologist and linguist, an expert on the Garo people of India. He was a respected scholar who contributed to the study of language and culture. Berling was a dedicated academic. Tiki Kamura. He was born in March 1924 and he died in January 2021. His age was 96 at the time of his death and he died after a long illness. Tiki Kamura was a Japanese-American martial artist, known as a close friend and student of Bruce Lee. He was one of the 3 certified Jungfan Kung Fu instructors under Lee. Kimura's dedication to martial arts and his connection to Bruce Lee made him a respected figure. Peter S. Eagleson. He was born in February 1928 and he died in January 2021. His age was 92 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Peter S. Eagleson was an American hydrologist and professor at MIT and a pioneer in the field of hydrology. His research focused on the study of water resources and water cycles. Eagleson's work had a significant impact on environmental science. He won many awards, including the Stockholm International Water Institute's World Water Prize in 1997. Peter W. Huber. He was born in November 1952 and he died in January 2021. His age was 68 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Peter W. Huber was an American lawyer and author, known for his expertise on tort reform and technology law. He was a respected legal scholar who wrote books and articles on the intersection of law and technology. Huber was a prominent voice in his field. L Luds. He was born in September 1939 and he died in January 2021. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from Lewy body dementia, Parkinson's disease, and COVID-19. L Luds was an American mystery and crime novelist, a prolific author who created the detective character Alan Nudger. He wrote over 50 books in his career. Luds was a respected figure in the world of crime fiction. Steve Lidle. He was born in November 1959 and he died in January 2021. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cardiac arrest caused by COVID-19. Steve Lidle was an American comic book artist, known for his work on DC Comics' The Legion of Superheroes. He was a respected artist in the comic book industry. Lidle's work was a part of comic book history. Shien. He was born in October 1936 and he died in January 2021. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from Parkinson's disease. Shien was an American journalist and author, best known for his book A Bright Shining Lie, a Pulitzer Prize-winning account of the Vietnam War. He was also the journalist who obtained and published the Pentagon Papers. Shien was a courageous and influential figure in journalism. Brian Siknik. He was born in July 1978 and he died in January 2021. His age was 42 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was stroke. Brian Siknik was a United States Capitol Police officer who died a day after being injured in the line of duty during the January 6, 2021 attack on the United States Capitol. His death was ruled a stroke, but was tied to the physical and emotional trauma he endured. Siknik was a dedicated public servant. John Kokuran. He was born in March 1937 and he died in January 2021. His age was 83 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. John Kokuran was an American logician, philosopher, mathematician, and historian of logic. He's best known for his philosophical work on concepts such as the nature of interference, relations between conditions, argument deduction, proof distinctions, and the relationship between logic and epistemology, and the place of proof theory and model theory in logic. Samuel L. Meyer Sr. He was born in April 1919 and he died in January 2021. His age was 101 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Samuel L. Meyer Sr. was an American economist, university president, education advisor, and civil rights advocate. One of Meyer's most significant contributions to society occurred during his 18-year tenure as the president of the National Association for Equal Opportunity, where he fought to sustain the establishment of historically black colleges by providing them access to $1 billion of federal aid. Deborah Aro, she was born in January 1952 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 68 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Deborah Aro was an American legal scholar and professor at Stanford Law School. She was a leading expert on legal ethics, gender, and the law and professional responsibility. Aro was a respected and influential figure in legal education. Nancy Walker Bush Ellis, she was born in February 1926 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 94 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was COVID-19. Nancy Walker Bush Ellis was an American philanthropist and the sister of President George H.W. Bush and the aunt of President George W. Bush. She was a dedicated supporter of various charitable causes. Ellis was a respected member of the Bush family. Mel Whitesman, he was born in July 1929 and he died in January 2021. His age was 91 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Mel Whitesman was an American Zen Buddhist priest, a respected figure in the Zen community. He was the founder of the Berkeley Zen Center. Whitesman's teachings had a significant impact on his students and followers. Janette Wood, she was born in February 1932 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 88 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death were complications from dementia. Janette Wood was an American politician who served in the Washington House of Representatives from the 21st District from 1988 to 1994, and in the Washington State Senate from the 21st District from 1994 to 1999. Wood graduated from Cornell University. She served on the Woodway, Washington City Council and as mayor of Woodway. David Booksbound, he was born in November 1929 and he died in January 2021. His age was 92 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. David Booksbound was an American mathematician, a pioneer in the field of homological algebra. He was a professor at Brandeis University. Booksbound's research had a significant impact on modern algebra. William H. Barber Jr., he was born in February 1941 and he died in January 2021. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. William H. Barber Jr. was an American judge who served on the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi. He had a long and distinguished career on the federal bench. Barber was a respected jurist. Harold Bonestein, he was born in March 1947 and he died in January 2021. His age was 73 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was a long illness. Harold Bonestein was an American physician, best known as the personal physician to Donald Trump. He was a controversial figure who made public statements about Trump's health. Bonestein had a long career in medicine. Tom LaBonge, he was born in October 1953 and he died in January 2021. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Tom LaBonge was an American politician who served on the Los Angeles City Council. He was a respected and beloved public servant in his city, known for his enthusiasm and his love for Los Angeles. LaBonge was a dedicated and passionate figure in the city politics. Kenneth Zad, he was born in April 1929 and he died in January 2021. His age was 91 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from COVID-19. Kenneth Zad was an American psychiatrist and professor at Southwestern Medical Center. He was an expert in deafness and mental health. Altshuler was a respected scholar and physician. Donald Fritz, he was born in September 1924 and he died in January 2021. His age was 96 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Donald Fritz was an American ceramic artist and academic known for his unique style of teapots, mixing ceramics with acrylics and wood. Fritz's work is in permanent collections in many museums. Elden Fike, he was born in May 1941 and he died in January 2021. His age was 79 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Elden Fike was an American professional football player for the Edmonton Eskimos of the Canadian Football League. He played college football for the BYU Cougars, dubbed the Phantom, while at BYU. He was the first BYU football player to be named to a first-team All-American team. Gundrazi, he was born in January 1963 and he died in January 2021. His age was 57 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gundrazi was an American professional basketball player, a guard who played for the Phoenix Suns in the NBA. He had a career in the league in the 1980s. Gundrazi was a respected player. Tommy Lasorda, he was born in September 1927 and he died in January 2021. His age was 93 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was cardiac arrest. Tommy Lasorda was an American professional baseball manager and player, a Hall of Fame manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He led the Dodgers to 2 World Series championships and was a beloved figure in the sport. Lasorda's passion and personality made him a baseball legend. Looney Parin, he was born in February 1952 and he died in January 2021. His age was 68 at the time of his death and he died after a long illness. Looney Parin was an American professional football player, a running back who played for the Denver Broncos in the NFL. He had a career in the league in the 1970s. Parin was a respected player. Steve Hendrickson, he was born in August 1966 and he died in January 2021. His age was 54 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Steve Hendrickson was an American professional football player, a linebacker who played for the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL. He was a member of the 49ers Super Bowl 24 winning team. Hendrickson was a respected player. Mike Henry, he was born in August 1936 and he died in January 2021. His age was 84 at the time of his death and the reason for his death were complications from both Parkinson's disease and CTE. Mike Henry was an American professional football player and actor. He played as a linebacker in the NFL before becoming an actor, most famously portraying the character Tarzan in a series of films. Henry was a versatile figure who made a name for himself in 2 different careers. Wayne Radford, he was born in May 1956 and he died in January 2021. His age was 64 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Wayne Radford was an American professional basketball player, a guard who played for the Indiana Pacers in the NBA. He had a career in the league in the 1970s and 80s. Radford was a respected player. Daryl, he was born in December 1929 and he died in January 2021. His age was 91 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was COVID-19. Daryl was an American college basketball coach. He coached for the Yukon Huskies men's team and was a university athletics ambassador, fundraising for college athletic programs. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.